All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new DC update, and this is going to be interesting. I actually got tickets to see The Flash today for tomorrow. So tomorrow night at 7 p.m. where I live, I am going to go to a special showing, and I will have my review up tomorrow unless they have assigned some embargo thing, which I've been to some previews before where they've done that, where we were not allowed to legally talk about it. But if they let me talk about it, I am definitely going to be there. All right, I will have that review up tomorrow. And I do plan on doing two different reviews. The first review is going to be my general thoughts of the film and the connections it may or may not have to the stuff that came before, and especially Zack Snyder's Justice League. And then I'm going to do a second spoiler review, just talking about everything. So I'm definitely going to have two different reviews so that I can appease both groups. Now, for all of you who come in and say, I'm not going to review it properly because of my hate for Warner Brothers and James Gunn, you can all screw off at this point, okay? I have always been 100% honest in my reviews, and I'm getting irritated, and I'm going to just start deleting people who come in and make these allegations. I have never, ever done anything and not reviewed something based on its own merits, regardless of who's behind it. You clearly did not see my Guardians of the Galaxy 3 review. I loved Slither. I still think it's the only great James Gunn film. I really enjoyed Slither a lot, and it was actually his directorial debut. But he is not a memorable director. There's nothing about his films you'll remember years down the road. I think the thing that is most remembered about the original Guardians of the Galaxy is the fact that they had the dance-off at the end that everybody is annoyed by. Okay, so his movies are not remembered for amazing things, whereas Aquaman had some great moments in it. When he comes out as Aquaman the first time, the whole battle sequence at the end, there are some really memorable things that happen in Aquaman. In Wonder Woman 1984, you had the whole no man's land scene. In Zack Snyder's Justice League, you had the return of Superman, and Batman versus Superman had the Batman fight. There are some memorable things, like big memorable things that have happened in all these movies. But everything outside of these films that I just talked about, it's been mediocre stuff. There just hasn't been anything amazing. It's all standard fare superhero, just basic stuff. There was nothing memorable. And if you look at the Batman film that came out last year, there's really nothing memorable out of it other than the car chase. But the car chase itself was ridiculous because number one, nobody cared after it happened. It's like there was all this carnage on the highway, and James Gordon didn't seem to care too much. So there was a lot of flaws with the Batman film, all right? I could go in and I could see things objectively. I am a DC fan through and through, regardless of who wrote what, who's behind it. I am going to review it honestly. So if you don't think that, then just leave my channel. Leave everybody else alone. Just go away. Honestly, go away. I don't want you here. All right, now what I'm going to do is we're going to have a little bit of a DC update here today, and we're going to see what I've captured over the last couple of days. All right, now, right after I had my last update go up, you had Joe Russo, and I love the Russo brothers, okay? These guys know how to direct. They're the ones that did Captain America Winter Soldier, which I think is by far the best Marvel film that has ever been made. I absolutely love that movie. And he was also behind Extraction, which is probably the best movie release that Netflix has done, and they've got the sequel to that. I haven't even watched a trailer for it just yet. But he came out and said Stephen King and Tom Cruise were right. Warner Brothers made the correct choice protecting the Flash for so long. They had the goods. And there are moments fans of every DC era will love. Oh, and if there was any doubt, it cements Michael Keaton as the best Batman. Now, that I highly doubt. I don't think there's ever going to be another sequence like what was in Batman versus Superman at the end. But I am eager to see what they're going to do in this film. I am a Batman fan more than anything else. And I am very eager to see how Michael Keaton does as Batman, and I'm eager to see Ben Affleck back as Batman as well. So this is something that is making the rounds as well, that Mr. Terrific is reportedly in Superman Legacy and is currently being cast. The Hollywood Reporter reported that multiple DC heroes will partake in the film. Again, I touched on this in a past video that I think this is a mistake by James Gunn to introduce too many people too quickly, because Snyder got lambasted for the exact same thing. So how it's okay here boggles my mind. It's like he wants to build the universe too quickly. And that is the same thing people complained about with what Zack Snyder did. And I just don't understand the hypocrisy. You can't have it both ways. We'll see what happens when the movie actually comes out. I hope they do a much better job with this character than they did in, in the Arrow show. In Arrow, I thought he was a little too jokey when I think he's a more serious character, very smart individual, and I would like to see this character on screen without question. Now, I think this was a joke. If you look at Zack Snyder with a mustache, it looks kind of goofy. But it says, breaking, Zack Snyder is set to direct a new Justice League movie for DC Studios. This was also making the rounds a couple of days ago. I personally do not think this is true, although I will talk about something here in a few minutes where there are some rumblings behind the scenes that there is something going on with Zack Snyder and DC, something that nobody is aware of. All right, so like I said, there are rumors out there. There's quite a few people that have mentioned, and I haven't really reported on this because there's nothing concrete, that there is something going on behind the scenes that we're not aware of that has to do with Zack Snyder and DC. That they're pulling, basically, the gist of it is they're pulling the wool over our eyes and they're not revealing anything. And, you know, with The Flash tomorrow, I'm hoping that the post-credit scenes, supposedly the movie is completely finished and this is going to be a finished, 100% ready-to-go version of the film. And what boggles my mind is why are they not releasing it now? Because nothing big comes out for a couple of weeks. And why is it not coming out now when there's no competition? Whereas in June, you know, there's a ton of stuff going on. I think now would be a better time to release it if they really wanted to make money on it. But regardless of that, the movie is supposedly done. And I am going to have those two reviews, and we'll talk about various things when, you know, after I have seen it. But like I said, there are rumors out there that there is something going on with Snyder and with his part of the universe that's still going to tie into the DC universe. I'll know more definitively after the viewing tomorrow, and we'll see, you know, we'll see what's going to go on behind the scenes. But I'm taking that with a grain of salt at this stage, although there have been rumors in the past that Deborah Snyder did meet with Warner Brothers Discovery and that there were things happening behind the scenes. And in the past where there have been rumblings of things happening, they never happened exactly the way the reports were, but there was still some truth behind it. And I go back to what happened with last year with Henry Cavill supposedly showing up at the Comic-Con, and he wasn't there, but he was supposed to be there, and then we heard he had COVID. There were all these reports when actually he was out filming scenes for the Flash movie. He was out filming scenes for Black Adam. And so he was doing various things. So there was some truth to the fact that there was something involving him. He was not on the Witcher set, but it wasn't what people said it was. So there could be something happening. I don't know. It's wishful thinking on a lot of people's parts. I think the Snyder stuff at this stage is being pushed off to the side. Now, David Zaslav has talked about a plan B. They're all in on gun stuff, but if gun stuff doesn't do well, then they do have a plan B, and I do believe that plan B is to finish up the storyline that Zack Snyder had. So we're going to see going into the future what happens. I do think The Flash is probably going to do well. I don't think it's going to do $1 billion. I will be surprised if it does. It has to make around $800 million just to start making a profit. So we'll see if they achieve that. You never know. Nostalgia is pretty high. If you look at what happened with Top Gun, that made a lot of money, and I didn't expect it to do as well as it did. So there is still a possibility The Flash could be a runaway hit with general audiences. We just don't know. I will be honest in my review, if it does well, I am going to push for people to go see it, because if it is really that good, we could, if we make this film big, if it's actually good and does not disrespect what came before, then I'm going to say be all in. Be all in. Let's show them that this is what we want. But if it's completely disrespectful, then I will let people know, and I won't be paying money to see it either. So we'll see what happens after I see it tomorrow, but I will be 100% honest in my review, whether it's good or bad, and I'll let people know whether they should go see it or not. So stick to my channel, and you will get that review tomorrow, as long as they allow us to do it, which I think they are. I've never been to a showing like this, not where other people can go to see it, because it's not just me. There's a bunch of people going to see this. This isn't like some press thing because I have a review channel. This is an actual special showing. So we're going to see what happens tomorrow. I'm pretty excited. My wife was surprised at how excited I got because I get to see this movie early. I'm really looking forward to it. All right, we will see you guys on the next video.